Hello, this is part two of the Alice Gear, Alice Alice Gear. What is this information video? Pretty much talking about how to set it up, the components, the information, the history, blah blah blah. That's pretty much what it is. So yeah. So another thing I want to mention that I meant to put in part one, but I forgot, is that this book is a very helpful book that if you're interested in the topic, you should get it. I recommend it. It's about, as it says, American web equipment. From 67 through 91, it includes M67 gear, Alice gear, and then the LBV-88. It's pretty good book. It's got all kinds of information and details. And they also made another one that I still need to get, which comes right before this. It's American Web Equipment from 1910 to 1967, which includes M56, the World War I and World War II equipment. I don't remember what it's called. I don't know what the official terms are for those. But anyways, yeah, recommended. Good book. You should get it. Now, this video will probably be on about belts. And so on. So, let me grab a few belts, all of my belts, and just kind of talk about them. And then I'll go over suspenders in a second, because this shouldn't take as long as the other video I did. I don't know why it was so long. But anyways, let's start. Basics. This is the belt. But there's also this type. There's also this type. There's 3 belts types, for the most part. There's also smaller details, but for the most part, yeah. These belts are the quick release. It's hard to do, one-handed. You just pull that, pull it up, and it comes out. Simple. And this tag's missing, so I can't date this one. But this type of buckle is not the first type that came out with this system. That would be this type. And this one is dated, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Upside down. And it looks like 1974 is the date. Yeah. DSA 174. This is the belt. And the only real difference, there's some minor differences with the latching system, but that's minor. Like, look. So yeah, that's a wee bit different, but nothing major. The difference is the buckle. It's the same style as the M56 and the World War II M36 pistol belts and so on, but, that's when they switched. This was introduced with the standard Alice, which came out in 73, and that was replaced by this type, which is the same as this, right here. But, because this type was introduced, it was the first introduced, you can see that the wire type being used all the way up until late 80s, early 90s even. Desert Storm, you can see it there. But this type was introduced in 1981. First seen, at least the first time I've seen it, was in Grenada, along with the PASGT system. But I imagine it was just like the PASGT, is that it was issued sooner. It's just never really got seen. Because the PASGT system was issued in 82. I'm sure there probably is other photos pre-Grenada, but that's the first time when you really start to notice it. You're like, oh, hey, some of the guys have this. But it was introduced in 81. And then this one, I don't remember. I have one of them that's 1982 dated, which is pretty cool. The earliest I've seen them dated. I haven't seen an 81 dated one. I don't think this is the one. But yeah. I mean, it's a belt. It's pretty simple. There's not much more to it. Now, there is another thing that goes with this. Now, since this one's... Hold on. since this one's already open, I can show you this. What is this? It's a belt extender. And what you do is you just put it on. Like so. And it extends the belt. Its purpose was for body armor, when you're wearing body armor, like the PASGT vest. So you don't have to take your belt off and readjust it. You just put this on, and it should fit over the vest just fine. Now, by the shade of this, I'm going to assume that this is probably 90s or 2000s. But it's the only one I could find. So, they're not rare. I found it locally, and I wasn't going to buy one on the internet, but I probably will eventually. Dominic said his is dated. Mine has no markings whatsoever. So, I don't know. But, yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say about that. Now let's talk about the last belt. Let me put these belts away so the table doesn't get cluttered. Okay. The last belt, and I'm not going to be covering the vest system in this video, but I have to cover this just because there's a lot of misconceptions, or not a lot of misconceptions, there is a misconception, and I fell for it earlier in my collecting. This belt is LC3. This one's 2003 dated, I believe, if I remember, but this type was introduced in 88 or 90. It was either with the pack or with the vest system. I think it was introduced with the LBV 88. It actually says in that book, I'm sure. I'll check it just to double check so I can know for sure. I can just skim through here real quick. Because it's towards the very end, they only covered it barely, the vest system. Okay, it's not covered in this book, so, you know what? It wasn't introduced. It was probably introduced in the 90s with the butt pack, which I'm going to show when I show butt packs, because I see that confused as well. But yeah, apparently this isn't an 80s belt. I thought it was introduced with or around the time of the LBV 88 system, but I know it was meant to be used with it, but it ended up becoming the replacement, and you see this in use as a standard belt in the early 2000s, but you also see the LC2. LC1 and LC2 are terms for Alice. LC1 will generally be the wire hook, and LC1 is usually for 70s equipment, while LC2 is usually for 80s Alice equipment. I generally do 80s, not 70s, so I pretty much refer to it as LC2 always, but technically it will say on the label what it is, and I think people refer to this as LC3, but I don't think it's ever marked as LC3. But let me double check real quick, since I've got the tag right here. Individual equipment. It doesn't say LC1 or LC2 or LC3. But yeah, the main difference is, well, the buckle. But there's also a difference with the latching system. It's a bit different. It's got this thing on there. It's a bit different. I'll do... I'm going to cover the LBV in a different video, and I'll probably cover this there because I'm not going to do anything past the LBV, and there's no point in doing a separate video just for this belt. But the misconception that I heard, hold on, let me put this down, is that the white buckle, the white plastic buckle that I just showed you, the LC2, is Army, and this black plastic buckle is Marine. That's what I had always heard, and that's what I had always assumed. But no, that's not true. This was used by Army and Marines in the 90s and 2000s, whereas the other belt was used by the Army and Marines in the 80s. So, and 90s and 2000s. So, this is not a specifically Marine item. I've heard that stated, and I've heard it that people have said that before. It's not true. The Marines might have been the first to get them, I'm not sure. But it's not a Marine-specific item. So yeah, that's all for belts. Let me get suspenders real quick. 10 minutes already. Seriously? I don't have any free pairs of suspenders. So here's this. This is a set of Alice basic set. I haven't really... I stripped a lot of my Alice sets to get components for the video, so... I'll show all of my Alice sets in another part eventually, but we don't care about any of this right now. The suspenders are Y. Y suspenders, Y-shaped. And then on here, you'll have a fabric loop, or nylon loop. And you put a clip through there, or you can put a clip through here. You can have your bandage pouch up there. You adjust it. You just pull the tab, and there'll be this long nylon tab, and you just fold it up and put it under these elastic loops. Let me show you real quick. You know, self-explanatory. You just, adjust it, roll it up, blah, blah, blah. And then you slide this up and over it, and I'll keep it adjusted as you see the finished product here. Now, it will clip, unlike on the M56, it will clip directly to the pouch, the ammo pouch, which I will cover later on. But there's a tab. There's a tab on the ammo pouch, and it'll clip directly to that. And if you're not wearing ammo pouches, if you're wearing a basic set, you'll just clip it to the belt, obviously. And then on the back, if you wear a butt pack, you clip it to the butt pack. It's simple. But if you're not wearing a butt pack, this is what you do. First of all, on the back, same system. It's just one strap, but towards the end, it divides into two. And you just clip it directly to the belt. With one space in between. I see a lot of people put them right next to it. I mean, you can, and I've seen it done, but I think you're supposed to leave one space, one hole in between, just because it looks better. But that's my opinion. I mean, there's not much to go on for suspenders. They'll also have a different shade depending on the era.